The Crash Course Live is presented by
Smash It Demolition Derbies, who host Bash for Cash, Blizzard Bash, and Capital City Carnage. Online at smashitderby.com. And Stirring Dirt Racing, host of Maymania's team show at the Golden Spike Arena in Ogden, Utah. Online at stirringdirtracing.com.
Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel and Derby Inc. Magazine. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York. And now your host, Chris Marquardt.
It is rough, Brian Tompkins. It is rough. Good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to this edition of the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast. It is going to be a busy one. It's going to be a fast one. And I guess maybe it is to my benefit that speed impresses you. So off we go. Up and running. Facebook is on its feet. We've got Metal Mayhem over the course of the weekend. Keystone Nationals.
2 weeks.
Iron City Nationals is coming up. Pretty quick. We'll be taking a look at that next week. We'll be catching up with Tommy Woodbury next week to talk about the Green Mountain Fall Bash that's coming up later on this month. The Lake Erie Rumble is coming up around the corner. Kings of Old School was this weekend. It was a very, very busy Labor Day weekend. This weekend also saw the return Andy Chester back in the car in Allentown. That was exciting. The news was circulating about the 73-year-old driver out in Gillette, Wyoming at the Razor City Rampage, I think was the name of the show.
River City. I thought it was River City.
That was Gillette. That was a Gillette.
My bad.
You're thinking of the Toast Show. So we're going to dive into that a little bit, but it's going to be good. Tommy Stark's going to be joining us on the phone. Brian was just going over the perils of working with high schoolers, and it's rough to say the least. I guess Cherry Vale said it best. Things are rough all over.
Yeah, it's Chris and I were having, like we've said a couple hundred times, some of our best stuff never makes air, but we were just discussing. It was Chris and Chris's wife Melissa's first day back to school. Nick went back to school today. So we were talking about that a little bit. Chris's two kids went back, so I got one in school and one in college. And here's a funny one for you. The first college class my oldest son Zach had, slept through it.
Uh-oh.
Woke up at 5:30, wide awake. I said, man, I had classes until 7. I'm good. I got another, a little while of sleep. Set his alarm and promptly slept through it. Woke up and said, uh-oh, I missed that class. I'm paraphrasing, of course. We talked about it this week. I think he thought I was going to yell at him, but I'm like, you know what, bud, with what you've had going on and everything, it is what it is. But things are going well. Went and watched the first football game. Fortunately, he only had about a week's practice, so he didn't get in. Hopefully this week he gets a little playing time. But we're back at it, man. Football season started when football season should in the fall. Demolition Derby season is wide open.
Full swing.
So away we go.
I got to believe that there's going to be stuff that we miss here tonight. There was so much stuff
if there is,
on.
please send it in. We'll talk about it next week.
We'll do it. We kind of catch up with all of that stuff. Tommy Stark coming away with the win. He won over in Mocaine, Missouri. We're going to be talking with him here in a few minutes. Shane Williams celebrating a birthday today out in Ohio.
Kenny Rosno won points in Nebraska.
I'm not sure. Hey, Tommy, hang on just one second. Is that Tommy?
Yeah.
I didn't know if maybe I got your publicist. Tommy Stark joining us online. I am not seeing the Kenny Rosno stuff. It's not coming up on my news feed for whatever reason, and I didn't know the schedule out there in Nebraska enough to go seek it out. So congratulations to him. I had missed that.
Yeah, I can probably find it here as long as you don't abuse me for being on my computer to look stuff up. Like
No.
You're looking stuff up now.
So Lexi Draw celebrated her 21st birthday, and she was advertising her new T-shirt line. That product line is going to be at San Filippo in the coming weeks, so that was kind of cool. We got to dive into some of this stuff with Stoneboro. Mike Martini getting a win over there at Stoneboro. Brett Petro, again, picking up the win at Metal Mayhem. We got the results to run through with that. And Matt Gascon and Corey Herzog taking wins over at the Kings of Old School event, so we'll get into that stuff as well. But before we dive into that stuff, Tommy Stark is joining us on the line. Tommy coming away with the win, man. Congratulations. That was a good one.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a good time.
So tell me a little bit about that run out there. I saw a lot of people that were posting. Seemed like it was a pretty popular win.
Yeah. So you all are familiar with the Woods.
Yep.
OMM. They have a production. They kind of run figure eights and big cars, and a stock derby for four bangers, and stock for big cars. This year's their first year putting on big car shows, but they're kind of having a point series. It's been pretty good so far.
That's awesome. This is toward the end of that series, right? You still got a couple events left?
Yeah, we've got 2 more shows. It's going to be really close. Like the last one's like right up end of October. So,
what car did you get to
pushing
run?
up on our Blizzard Bash.
Are you still finishing off cars from 2018 and 2019 like we've heard other people doing?
No, they're all sitting in the weeds.
No, he's running stuff from 2012.
So, yeah. What was this car that you ran from? Was this a fresh build?
They're both. I've been running 2 fresh builds this summer.
Okay.
Ran a '74 Caprice wagon, and then built the '98-02 Lincoln.
I see. All right.
Yeah.
So is this a tune-up for Blizzard Bash?
Absolutely, yeah. We've been actually testing and tuning everything, even transmission. And I normally don't do the transmission, but I've been running it this last show, and everything seems to be working pretty good. So,
well, that's interesting. Marcella Benjamin checking in the live chat. Jordan Early in the live chat as well. Dave Bongiovanni, Gaming Empire. Hey, that's Justin Hatch and William Wright. William White saying that Tommy Stark is a hero. Good choice. Good choice. One of the best mullets in Demolition Derby.
Yeah, we definitely had a good run the other night. I stood on it from the word green, and I knew a lot of the guys out there, so it made it a little more fun. You didn't have nobody crybaby bitching or nothing like that. We went out there and just flat stood on it and put on a show for the crowd, and it was really a good show.
How heavy is that build?
So you can change your body mounts, but it's still it's like a half-inch body mount with 1-inch spacers, but there's no cradles or nothing like that. No protectors.
So you mean these cars actually bend?
Yeah, they bend.
All right.
They definitely bend.
Just checking. I mean, usually the stuff you guys build out there doesn't bend. So we just, it's either the build where they bend or it's a build where they don't. We're just, got to get that straight.
Yeah. So the Woods brothers with Lucky 7 Promotions, they kind of turned back the clock a little bit. So it's pretty cool.
Nice.
I always get a kick out of the conversations with Tom. He talks about, I ran a street stock class a couple weeks ago before we came here. And what's the street stock class? So full plate from the bumper back to the control arms, 1-inch engine cradles,
kickers tied into the cage. Yeah, it's ready to go. Semi stock.
Yeah, that was a light one.
So I hadn't seen a lot of that type of pace coming out of you this year in terms of, at least at this time of year, coming up close and looking ahead to Blizzard Bash. So I made the assumption that you were getting ready for Blizzard Bash. With a light build like that and the intention to drive as hard as you were in Mokane, is that an element of knocking off ring rust, just like we've heard other drivers talk about? You get on a bike and you still know how to drive a bike, but you got to get acclimated to running that wide open pace and reacting at full speed, or is it just something where, hey, sometimes it's just more fun to run wide open?
No, you got to get acclimated. I mean, you got to have them runs. I feel like, when you're going to go somewhere like Blizzard Bash and run that fast pace, if you don't run it, because the county fair shows, we all know it. They're just it's a total. I mean, it looks like slow motion for me. Everything looks slow motion. So if you don't go out there and you set the pace wide open, everything, you're going to be. I think you'll get called your pants down out. Look at that. So I think, to me, it's definitely a big deal. To get them runs in prior.
I had a guy a couple weeks ago argue with me that Blizzard Bash, he said Blizzard Bash was a bag fest.
What?
Somebody on Facebook, they were talking about big money derbies, and they mentioned Blizzard Bash and said it was a bag fest, and I was like, I don't think I would ever see anything at Blizzard Bash that I can remember that would. I mean, I've seen features start out slow until somebody throws a haymaker and then it's on. But I mean, when
what show was he watching?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, and that's the thing, and I didn't even argue with him because as I've gotten older, in the last couple of years, I've tried to realize that you can't change everybody's opinion, and he was pretty stuck in it. So.
Wow.
I was just like, okay, opinions vary, and I know what I see every time I go to Topeka, and that's why I want to keep going back to Topeka. It's
just
I didn't know if he was talking about like Razorback, because I ran that show, and it is. I mean, everybody, you got your different areas. A lot of guys are bagging. A lot of guys you got your few that are cranked up.
Yep.
And Metal Mayhem, a lot of times, the times that I've been, I'm not saying that every time, but even that show is like, that's what you're there for.
Yeah. And
that's a lighter build, so you kind of bag,
And that's the thing. I mean, it's, if you really truly want to do something, then build a car and go get the guys that you think are bagging. I mean, it's sitting in the bleacher, and everybody has their right, but I mean, running down a show for it doesn't, it's Derby tearing itself down, which we've touched on a million times.
More than enough times, yeah. So the pace at Blizzard Bash, it almost has come now to where it's got the equivalent of the Brockton handshake. Brockton is a huge facility, and they back up in the middle and they touch bumpers before they go. There's a couple of events in Canada, I think, that do that too. So Blizzard Bash's feature, at least the national feature, has that element in the opening moments. Because as the teams pull in for introductions, they're not aligned with the teams that necessarily made deals with, so everybody just kind of drives around to get position, and then the derby starts. It's like the pace laps at Daytona.
Yeah, it's very true.
Yeah. But they clearly, if they're looking at it as Bagfest, they must have just come for Sunday. You know what I mean? They missed all the best part of the whole show.
But that's the thing, though. I mean, the features, they get after it in the features too. I mean, those cars, when cars are shortened to the rear doors, and and they're starting to bend cages, and God only knows what these guys have spent on these cages of brand new steel that's 1/4 inch thick, and it's insane to think anything about Blizzard Bash is a bag fest, but it is what it is, I guess.
Yeah, you don't bend 1/4 inch cage material because you're bagging.
No, and we've all seen it bent.
Yeah.
What are you bringing for Blizzard Bash this year? Who's on the team?
So me and Jason Dowles, Craig McCracken, and our new pickup is CJ Barnes.
Nice.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. Yeah.
CJ's going to be the hammer because that's what CJ does.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So.
And so this will be the first time that I've been out there that I've let somebody run the 03 and newer. So CJ's going to be running the 03 newer.
Okay. And
I'm going to sit in an old iron.
What kind of old iron?
A 2 1/4.
Okay.
Buick 225.
Nice.
That'll be cool.
Very.
It's probably too nice, really. It's probably too nice. I probably need to find a rustier one to take out there.
Yeah, I don't think that's the case.
Rusty ones need more fix-it material.
Yeah. You can. It's like the wagons in Ohio. They were rusty, so we got to fix them. We've seen how that happens.
Yeah.
And that's on you guys doing qualifying side?
No, nationals. We're still nationals.
Oh, okay. Good deal.
Yep.
How's Eddie?
Ought to be good. Eddie? Well, he's recovering.
Uh-oh.
He had a rotator cuff surgery, so he wanted to run the other night at Mocaine, so that's pretty cool. Him and his boys been building Mad Dog trophies for all the derbies around central Missouri and northern Missouri, and taking them, and giving Mad Dog trophies away. So that's pretty cool. He's trying to get his son, involved more.
Sure. That shoulder's been giving him trouble for a while. He was due for that surgery.
Yeah, I remember him talking about
2
that.
years ago.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, he's got her fixed, and now I think maybe I think it's healing pretty good. It's just kind of a mental thing, like when he's going to be ready to get back in a car, you know.
I would take it easy on that. Those shoulders are, man, they're scary when you get them fixed. You want to make sure they're healed before you start being wild.
And his hobby isn't exactly painting landscapes either.
True.
Yeah, it's not like Eddie goes and bags in a county fair either. I mean,
he gets after him pretty good.
Yeah, he snot-nosed kids. He said he's gonna get at him.
Awesome. Well,
put on all you snot-nosed kids.
Did I see Jason was trying to get to a show in Texas but didn't make it?
Yeah, I think he got a little sick.
Oh, okay.
I'm not exactly 100% positive on all the situation, but
Jason always has cool cars.
Yes. He drives the stuff that's off the beaten path.
Yeah, he always has a nice variety of different stuff.
You going to let him bring a Cordoba?
He's not afraid of his builds either, you know.
Right.
No.
You going to let him bring a Cordoba?
No, he's going to bring something a little bigger than that. Yeah.
Good.
You know his wagon that he had, the what was it, 18, I guess. That's how long it's been since we've all been there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think
18,
so.
right?
Yeah, I think so. He had that. It was the Ford wagon, right?
No, 18 Blizzard Bash, right? Am I right? Or is it 19?
For Blizzard Bash, the last
Blizzard
time
Bash?
last time we were there for Blizzard Bash was 2019.
19,
it was
yeah.
fall of 19. Because then spring of 2020, we had Capital City Carnage, and I don't think we've been back since.
Yeah, so 19, he had built a wagon for 19.
Mm.
And if anything could have went wrong for him, it did, but the thing is, like, he was too busy fixing just silly parts that whenever he got ready, you know, to put his plates on and stuff, come to find out, you know, instead of the rear end being broke, it was like the transmission was out. So he had to do all that changing, and whenever he went back finally, he actually took that wagon back, and it didn't have a plate one on it.
Wow.
And that thing, yeah, and he was that confident in his build, and I was too. It held and never even wiggled, even in that final. And I was like, man, that's pretty impressive. So Jason's definitely got a good build.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, I was thinking when you're talking about the wagon and talking about the cool factor on the cars, I was thinking about that.
He
Ford
brought that
wagon.
I think he brought that to Capital City Carnage.
Probably.
Yeah, that was a Carnage car, the 60s, 64. I don't know if it was a Galaxy wagon or a Mercury wagon. Galaxy, yeah.
Yeah, and he made it to the feature. He made it way down to the feature with that, I believe.
Yeah.
But yeah,
he run it till it wouldn't go no more. I mean, there wasn't nothing left of that poor thing.
No, you're right. He gets his money's worth out of his cars, that's for sure. There's no doubt about that.
Well, and he's a wheel man, so, I mean, he can do that.
Yep, no doubt.
Awesome. Well, Tommy, man, anybody that you want to make mention of after pulling down that win and getting ready for Blizzard Bash?
Man, you know, I really thank my wife for putting up with me. I go and do as I please, so to have that backbone and back support is pretty awesome. All the guys in my shop, they've been great, great help.
So Tommy, I'm friends with both you and your wife on Facebook, and I always see her doing all this, you know, exercise and physical fitness stuff. I mean, are you there with her running and working out and all that good stuff?
I'll be honest, no.
Just checking.
No. Yeah. No. You know, so I did quit drinking.
Yep.
So that's probably to the most extent of my workout.
That's good.
And
That's better than
I like
nothing.
block for a living, so
That'll do it.
block. I play concrete block all day, so that's good enough workout.
Yeah, that's good on your shoulders and arms and everything else.
I'll be looking like Chick here for long.
That's awesome.
Well, Tommy, man, congratulations on the win. Keep building, stay in touch, and we look forward to catching up with you down there in Topeka when we get down there in November.
All right, guys, I appreciate it. Thanks.
You bet. We'll see you
Everyone's
later.
on.
Yep, see y'all then. Bye.
There goes Tommy Stark. Couple thoughts from Tommy. Always a fun guy to catch up with. Pork Chop, Chris Polly checking in the live chat.
Happy birthday to Pork Chop Jr. Just turned 14, I believe.
Oh, really?
Yep. They had a nice picture of Pork Chop and his son, who is getting to be quite a big young man.
I bet.
He's a big kid.
Trey Welch checking in. Scott Kiefer checking in. Tim Osterhout. He said asked Mike Ernst about how his legs are feeling after skydiving out of the top of his car. So we'll make sure that we touch on that topic. And Rob, you were confirming what we had suspected, that in fact that was a Capital City Carnage car. So rounding the bend on that content, let's double back and hit on some of this other stuff that we were discussing before we get into some of the ad drops.
Just quick.
Yeah.
Kenny Rosno was the 2021 Limited World Champion for the Nebraska Demolition Derby Point Series.
Okay.
With 428 points. And Kenny's had a lot of personal stuff going on. His mom has been pretty sick.
Oh, boy.
So he's had kind of a rough summer. Hats off to Kenny. We've talked to him a few times on here, and we've always enjoyed watching him at Blizzard Bash. So congratulations. Hope to see him at Topeka.
We're going to run through some of this stuff that we've got from the weekend before we get Jimmy McChesney on the phone. Jimmy McChesney, the Orange Crash, pilot of the number J51, back in the car running with the Lancasters up in Minnesota. So we're going to be catching up with him, but he doesn't get out of work until 6:30, so we got to go a couple minutes past that.
6:30 our time or his time?
He's on the East Coast. We're on the East Coast. He's on the West Coast. So it's like 3:30 his time.
Gotcha.
So we're going to...
So we flew in from Cali?
Yeah, we're going to...
That's the life.
We'll dive into all that. I saw some pictures of when, in his younger days, working on Buicks and GMs and stuff. It was really cool.
Was the paint faded on them?
Didn't seem to be.
So they were brand new. That's awesome. I'm sorry. Out with your stuff.
They were off the showroom floor.
Perfect.
What's the worst that could happen, right? All right. So let's start. Brett Petro coming up with a win at Metal Mayhem. Ethan Clifton got the win in the youth division. Noah Smitley and Corbin Smith second and third in the youth class. Front wheel drive street stock. Dawson West got the win over Drake Denny. Jeff Ogle Jr. was third place in that one. Rear wheel drive street stock. Benny Barrows got the win over Brian Angel and John Purvis. In the vans, Chuck Markle got the win over Sean Brotherton and Donnie Sublin. As we said, Brett Petro got the win over Matt Songalewski and Ryan Songalewski. So that was pretty good, pretty strong top
battle
right
at the
there.
end. Yeah, I would guess.
And then the Pro Mod featured Trent Braun over Joey Braun and Chris Averish scoring his first points of the year. That win is going to put him into the top 50. I misspoke there. That third place is going to put him into the top 50 in the standings. So he's in the top 50 among the 424 drivers that have scored so far. You can believe that.
And I think for the first time ever, Steven Sickles did not score points.
It's got to be close to that, yeah.
But he had fun, so that's all that matters.
Ethan Clifton weathered a heck of a storm, created a big win for himself, and he's in the top 15 among the 424 drivers representing Kentucky. The next stop is the Iron City Nationals coming up here in a short, little over 14 days. Let's see, we got Shane's birthday, Lexi's birthday, Mike Martini getting a win at Stoneboro. That was the event for hardcore. And Stoneboro, they had a 2-day show. John Dambaugh coming up with the win in the Street Stock Compact. Stan Hitler was second. Hunter Kassoff got the third place in the Hellraiser Award. The Compact winners on Sunday. Jeremy Merriman over Adam Merriman. John Dambaugh was third. Dan Houghton was fourth. And also he picked up a Hellraiser Award for the Compacts. The Hobby Stocks, Kenny Thompson winning over A.J. Sinnereth and Randy Brazel. Jared Marsh was fourth. Dalton Cantor got the Hellraiser Award, and this was the last round of action on Saturday, on the 5th. Hunter Biddle won the youth full size over Jake Berkner and Jared Marsh. Youth Compact on Saturday the 4th. McKenna Saylor got the win over Jacob Anoski and Eric Neugebauer. Hobby Stock winner Kenny Thompson picked up that win, so he doubled down on Hobby Stock. Dalton Cantor, Randy Brazel. Dalton Cantor got Hellraiser Award there. Full size winners Mike Martini over Chance Smith. Jared Talbot, that is a loaded East Coast top three right there. Chance Smith getting the Hellraiser Award there. SUV winner, any guesses? If you had to gamble on it.
John Dambaugh.
Ooh, good, but no. Ron McClung. Jordan Cook, Jim Cleachus getting third, and Jordan Cook getting the Hellraiser Award. And then Jeremy Merriman taking the win on the compact side of things on the 4th over Jason Doppelhuer, and Adam Merriman. Doppelhuer got the Hellraiser Award in that one as well. So we've hit on all of that. Let's take a minute and we'll let you know what else is coming down the line for hardcore. Hardcore had the lockdown event in Stoneboro here over the course of the weekend. Next, they're looking ahead to the Route 40 Rumble in West Alexander on the 7th and 8th. So that's happening live as we speak now, and then they're going to have day 2 coming up just after that, West Alexander, PA. Make sure you jump on the Hardcore page, and it'll give you some directions on how to navigate the grounds there, because it's getting a little hairy the way that they're rerouting stuff. HardcoreDerbyPromotions.com has details. The final confrontation will be the last event of the year, September 25th and 26th. $15,000 to win Elite Class. Will headline that event on the 25th and 26th. $2,500 to win Hardcore Full-Size Division. $3,500 Hellraiser Award sitting out there from Jeffy's Fab Farm in the Hardcore Full-Size event. $5,000 to win Hobby Stock. $4,000 to win Compacts. Minivans, trucks, SUVs on the card. Youth Full-Size, Youth Compact, Hobby Stock, and Powder Puff, all part of the program. Stay up to date online, HardcoreDerbyPromotions.com. Top 5 didn't change any in the Unified Point Series. Next up in the Unified Point Series is Iron City Nationals in New Alexandria, PA. October the 2nd is Triple D's Coshocton County Fair in Ohio. And then October the 2nd, same day, Spinning Wheel San Filippo Smash in Morris. October 8th and 9th is Toast High Banks Beatdown. October the 16th is Rodney Mann's Preble County Fair in Eaton, Ohio. October 23rd is Smash It's Cleanup Show in Washington Courthouse, Ohio. October the 29th, that is going to be Dead Man's Buried Alive, 29th, 30th, and 31st in Cumberland, Maryland. November the 6th is Buchanan Edwards Winter Destruction, and after what you see on screen, there's only 2 events left. That is Winter War Zone and the Turkey Derby coming up on the end of November and the first week of December. Steven Sickles, 156 points to his credit now. Mason Stacy with 70. Terry Abadi with 66. Dan Roos with 56. TJ McCulloch still sitting there in the top 5 with 50. Only needs to win 10 straight in the next rest of the schedule. Would not allow Steven Sickles to score again to take a 6-point win if TJ wants it. I feel like it's easier said than done.
It's amazing that you have the math done to that point.
It's well, look at it. I mean, it's just 156 minus 50.
I feel that you're fully healed from your concussion now, and things are good.
A little. I'm doing well.
Good.
I'm feeling better. Definitely feeling more on pace with things. We talked a little bit about Smash It Demolition Derby. Smash It Demolition Derby, they've got an event tomorrow, Highland County Fair in Hillsborough, Ohio. Ashland County Fair on the 25th of September in Ashland, Ohio. The 27th and 28th is the Brown County Fair in Georgetown, Ohio. Lancaster is October 15th and 16th. That's Fairfield County Fair. And then the cleanup show at Washington Courthouse, again, is going to be October 23rd. Fall cleanup show. Bring something. They will find a class for you to run. So
exactly.
There's a chance to get involved with that. We were talking a little bit about the Dead Man stuff. Dead Man's Demise at Upper Co is October the 9th. Super stock, full-size, dead stock, full-size stock compacts. Dead Man compacts, minivans and SUVs, Power Wheels, and racing on the card for October the 9th. Pits open at 8. Spectator gates open at 11. Racing starts at 1. That is 16,020 Carnival Avenue, 16020 Carnival Avenue in Upper Co, Maryland. Don't forget Buried Alive. That is the 12,000 win Super Stocks, plus the Graveyard Rumble and the Joker Compact Rumble sitting out there as well. Perhaps you've been following along. We talked about Blizzard Bash, and here's some more details on it. Live heat draws are going to be at 8 o'clock on Wednesday, November the 10th. That is along with a complement of inspections happening on the 9th and the 10th. Action kicks off officially on Thursday the 11th with National Qualifying Team first rounds. Friday, November the 12th, National Qualifying Round 2, along with the 80s Bone Stock 1 and Done and the Street Stock Weld Class 1 and Done. Saturday, November the 13th, Compact and Limited Weld Team Round 1, Trucks and Limited Weld 1 and Done in the morning. They were labeled as separate events, so I'm anticipating it's going to be that split program again. The afternoon program, National Qualifying B features, Compact and Limited Weld B features, Mod, Fides, and Front Wheel Drive 1 and Done, completing the Saturday program. Then Sunday, Championship Sunday, all 14 features. That's the Limited Weld Compact Qualifying in the National and the Two-Man Extreme 1 and Done. Also on the program there for Blizzard Bash. Online, you can get the whole agenda and everything that you need to know about Blizzard Bash online, blizzardbash.com. Giving you a rundown on this real quick. Smith Metal Works, we haven't talked about them yet. They're a big player with the Iron City Nationals and with everything that happens with hardcore. Smith Metal Works is an all-purpose fabrication shop that has taken the Northeast by storm. Smith Metal Works features more than 40 years of fine metalworking experience. The shop offers all the odds and ends, such as distributor, clamps, and welding centers. Be sure to ask about the GM floor liners. They've got pointed and flat front bumpers that replicate popular factory releases. They've got the super stock front bumper that's been a hit, run hollow. You can stuff it at home. Other items include Crown Victor skins, battery boxes, engine mounting systems. You name it, they've got it. In-person locations in Mercer, Uniontown, Bethlehem, or it can be shipped to your door. Online, smithmetalworks.info. Experience and passion, second to none. And rounding it out,
Jeffy's Fat Farm.
Well, I mean, I figured we'll just get them done and run through it all right now. We're at the midpoint of the show. I might better just do it now. Recognizing an industry leader in all manner of purpose-built demolition derby parts, Jeffy. He was on the show last week and traded a couple of neat messages after that bumper conversation. Starting with rear ends in 06, Jeffy's Fat Farm expanded to headers in 08. The shop can boast a combined 70-plus years of mechanical skill. Jeffy's Fat Farm specializes in LS conversions and conversion components. With consistent feature wins across North America, your turnkey solution is only a phone call away. You did a car show over the weekend. Did you see that? They had the dragster out. He had all sorts of cool pictures and stuff.
Wouldn't get it out for us.
Yeah, well, yes. Yeah, I mean, figure it out. You're a smart guy. Jeffy's Fat Farm Camry in a Box campaign sets you up for a successful retail price of $525. You need to ask about the multi-fit shifter options. You also find fuel and air parts, suspension and transmission items, steering components, pedal switches, and gauges. If you need it, it's on the farm, jeffysfatfarm.com.
I just wanted to do one burnout with it.
Yeah, I don't think that you would be able to get anywhere near that car
Just
to
one.
even begin considering the sequence that it would take to do a burn.
Just get it and stand on the gas. Let it eat.
What's the worst that could happen, right?
Just quick, I wanted to congratulate the Bronze. Trent obviously won. Josh and Joey were both. Josh or Joey was second. They were all in the top three or three out of the top five. So, we talked before on here about it'd be nice to see them do a little traveling, and they went out and ran Metal Mayhem and brought home a whole bunch of the money. So, congratulations to those guys. It's good to see.
And I think they ended up with a runner-up earlier this year too, right? Up at the Triple D's show, the Jegs show that Dustin Wood put on.
Yes, Trent finished second there.
Second.
Yeah.
They ran out of time.
To Corey Roman, yes. Yep. You're right.
So what else we got here on the schedule? We talked about that. Mike Martini.
Got to call California.
Yeah, I'm going to give him another minute or two. Just a quick minute. Because it's not like we don't have stuff to talk about.
Yeah, we're definitely full.
Tommy Stark. We got Tommy. We got Blizzard Bash. So, Mike Martini. Congratulations, man. That was cool. Same thing with Ron McClung. I don't know how he got into the States, but he took.
I think it's open.
Oh, everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
As long as I think all you need is a vaccination card and you're good.
Perfect. Well, that's excellent. I don't know if you saw this or not. Bailey Decker got a win.
I did not.
Bailey Decker down at GDS. She ran a youth class, broke the steering, and when I talked to Josh about it, he said that the broken steering was one of the best things that could have happened because it slowed her down. Do you remember when she took the RC car at after we were done with the Derby, one of the first times we were up at Finger Lake Speed World? She wanted to bomb around with one of the Derby cars. There was just this free-for-all going on. And she's kind of like hanging back. And her brother brings the car over in a basket, and Josh was like, "Just let me know what happened. I'll pay for it." I'm like, she broke the subframe." He goes, "What?" Like he thought that it was like a spindle or something. She actually cracked the subframe in a slash, broke it right in half. I've never seen it happen before again.
Sweet.
So it was cool. She I asked her if she wanted to come on the show, but I asked her dad. Make sure that everyone understands how that conversation went through. I had talked to her dad, and unfortunately she had volleyball, and then she's lifting tonight, so she's not able to get on. But it was very cool to see that she took the win over there at GDS. Matt Gascon, we may be seeing him. He was trying to make the trip in. He had some business to conduct up in Syracuse, so he might stop in. He picked up a win in the headline class at the Kings of Old School event. Corey Herzog, another guy who's been on the show in the past, got the wire class win. So that was pretty good. I was happy to see that. Matt celebrated well after the feature was over with. I don't know if you saw the pictures. I believe at one point the celebration included spiking the trophy.
Whoa! No, I missed that. That happens.
So sometimes people get excited, I guess.
Probably some. I think that the beer of choice there is Busch Light. I think.
I can't remember what I think so.
Busch or Busch Light, but good guys. We've talked with them a bunch, and we've been on there a couple times. And Matt Jr. had a real good run out at Blizzard or Bash for Cash this year with a brand.
He won Seneca County Fair a couple years ago.
Yep, in the modified. Yep. Came down to him and Pete after Jeremy kind of knocked himself loopy. But had a brand new guard, took that out and ran it at Bash for Cash for like an hour and 17 minutes with no water.
That's right. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Oh. But if you're going to buy a guard motor, that's why you buy a guard motor, to run it for an hour and 17 minutes with no water. So I'm sure that's what was piloting the 52 at the Coos show.
This is Chris. Can I put you in, Jimmy? Perfect. Yeah. Nothing in Derby lasts forever. When you buy it to break it or see how long it'll go before you break it, right?
Mm-hmm. He hasn't found the break apart yet, so that's good.
It's not bad at all. Jimmy McChesney joining us on the line. Jimmy, man, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing, Chris?
We're doing all right. Are you back home now?
Yeah, I'm actually driving home from a long day at work. I'm exhausted. I flew back to California last night, and what a weekend I had.
So tell us about the weekend that you had. It was awesome. The Lancasters brought you up there, and you ended up getting back in a car. Tell me a little bit about what this weekend was like.
Yeah, well, Chris, he's my nephew, and I used to do some derbying back in the '80s, and Chris was just a young boy back then, and he'd come out and watch me, and he was my number one fan, and throughout the years he has progressed into quite a derbyer, and we talk about it often, but I haven't been in a Demolition Derby car in almost 40 years.
Oh my gosh.
I'm 62 years old, and every time we talk, he says, "You come out to Minnesota, I'll build you a car, Jimmy." And you know, I thought, yeah, sure, you know. And finally, he kept saying that, and I said, "You know what? I'm going to take you up on it, and I'm coming on out." And he built me a compact actually for Friday night, and we took that to Ridgeland. Was it Ridgeland? Yeah, Ridgeland. I'm not even familiar with the places we went to in Wisconsin, and back in the '80s we didn't have that division. In fact, they didn't have those front-wheel drive cars back then either. So he built that, and it was such a good car. Him and his friend Greg built that for me, and I ran that on Friday night, and it just had a wonderful time. I ended up taking the Mad Dog Trophy. That was quite an experience. I didn't win it, but I went out there to have some fun, and it was good. I was supposed to. So in my heat race, yeah, it was a little controversial. There were some people felt that I was bagging it, and I wasn't really bagging it. What I was having is actually some issues. I was wearing this neck brace that Chris advised me to wear, and it was limiting my ability to be able to actually turn my head and see behind me well enough to make a decent hit and know where I was going. Sure. And towards the end, I took that off and I made a couple hits. But anyways, I managed to survive and transfer onto the final. And the official, he gave me a pretty good warning. He says, you made it. It's a little controversial. They're going to be watching you. You better be hitting. So I took that to heart, and I said, nobody's going to accuse me of this sandbagging. And I just started going out there and hitting it. Chris told me he doesn't want anything to do with that car. Just wreck it as well as you can. He doesn't run those compacts. So that motor wasn't of interest to him. Nothing was of interest to him. He said, go out there and have fun, and I just started hitting them up. So that was that. I was scheduled to. He built me a full size, or it was one of his pre-runners for the next night. But after receiving my trophy and a little bit of a sore pectoral muscle, I forfeited my seat and let my son run the next night, and that was really enjoyable for me too.
Cool.
What was the last car that you drove before this?
Oh, it had to have been 19. I knew you were going to ask this. I'm guessing 1985, somewhere around that time frame. It was what we were running back there were the cars from the 60s.
Okay.
The cars from the 70s that everybody's running nowadays, they were too new back then, and we weren't wrecking those cars up. But we get a 60s, and the popular car was the 64 Imperial, and I obtained a couple of those, and when I obtained those, they outlawed them. They wouldn't allow them to race anymore, and that kind of took the steam out of my since I had a couple of them, it just kind of took I quit at that time. I was frustrated because I finally got the Imperials that I wanted to run. And, 1985, I would say.
Where did Orange Crash come from?
So that's a really interesting one. So my first Derby car was brown, and then I had a friend of mine that he worked for a paint manufacturer back in California, and he said, we can get you some paint for your car, but it's going to have to be whatever paint we have in surplus. And he had the orange paint, and at the time they had these things they're called a beer wrap or a beer wrapper, and it's this plastic thing you put around a beer can to disguise it to look like a soda can. And they were all odd little names like Jiffy Cola, and one happened to be Orange Crash, that beer wrapper. So you could go walking around the street with a beer in your hand and nobody would know. And that's where it all came from. It came from the orange paint and the beer wrap. Are you hearing me okay? Because I seem to be echoing.
Can hear you fine. I don't see anything that's going to make you echo. I see a little bit of feedback, but that's about it. Everything's going okay.
Okay.
Yep.
So how sore are you today after a couple days after your run?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I got a little bit of soreness. I think the shoulder belt caught me. I think I got pushed into that. It's that pectoral muscle, a little bit sore. I've been taking some Tylenols and something a little bit stronger to help me out. And I'm actually feeling pretty good. I was pretty sore immediately after, and that's why one of the reasons I gave up the seat. But feeling good. I'm feeling really good emotionally. Anyway.
Now you've mentioned how your nephew Chris Lancaster he's really advanced as a Derby driver. Have you seen any of his heavier builds, like when he takes to Blizzard Bash, and if so, what do you think of where the sport of Demolition Derby's gone to? I mean, obviously you said you ran it, back when you were a kid, and you figured your last Derby was around '85. What do you think of the landscape of Demolition Derby today?
Oh my gosh, it has advanced so much. There was never that outlet of where you buy specific Derby parts and people making them, the guards you put around the engines and the special rear ends, and the rules were way different too. If back then, when I was running it, at least the circle I was running in, if you were running a Chrysler car, you were restricted to running. You're supposed to be running the stock motor that came in that car, but you could get away with if you had a special motor that was another Chrysler motor. You could put Chrysler in Chrysler, but Chevy had to go in Chevy, and you had to have the stock original bumper on it, and things like that have changed so much, and we used to do what's happening today. We'd take that rules and we'd go right up to the limit, but the limit was way different. There wasn't all these specialized parts in the days, and it just amazes me when I go looking through Chris's stuff and looking at his cars and looking at the specialized parts that he has and the things that he does to them. Him and the industry has advanced a whole bunch.
So you were talking about different motors and different cars, and the different things that you've seen Chris do. A few years ago, we were at Winter Slam in Minnesota, which is a wintertime derby, usually first week in February. So in Minnesota, then it's somewhere 30, 40 below, because that's how it is in Minnesota. And Chris had built a Thunderbird to run. And instead of running, a small block this or a small block that or one of his good garb motors, he put a 572 cubic inch, 502 Cadillac motor in it. It wasn't the 470.
It wasn't the big one.
Yeah, no, it was the big one. It was the 502. So they get it to the track and they're trying to start it, and it barely turns over. So they end up with like tarps out and salamanders blowing on it. And I stood back and watched because, they were all looking a little frustrated and friendly. I walked up and tapped him on the shoulder. I said, Chris, next time I'd probably just put the guard in it. And he's like, yeah, I think you're right. But he is definitely, we've seen him build a lot of really cool cars. We mentioned earlier, we've seen Jason Dowes do the same thing, but Chris has demoed some just neat stuff, old Fords and, all sorts of cool stuff. So it's definitely neat to see where things have gone.
Yeah, Chris has really impressed me with his, with the way he puts the cars together and how fast he does. I just came out there Wednesday and he pretty much had the cars pretty much ready. We just had to do some minor little adjustments to them, and it's just my hobby right now is I build up. I like classic cars, and I put them together and I put them in for car shows, and everything has got to be just perfect. I mean, to put a radiator in a car for me might take me a couple days because I find out I don't have the exact right rubber piece, and I got to wait for shipping and stuff like that. And here we're at Chris's and we're throwing in these radiators and tying them in with 9-wire and squirting foam around them and it's just a whole different world the way these cars he just slams them together fast. He's just really, really good at it, a good welder, and he's taught me a lot. My son came out there too, and Chris he did really well too. He lost his transmission fluid, somehow poked a hole in the pan. He did the following night when we went to Balsam Lake, and had a problem with the motor. Otherwise, he was making some good hits. I was really proud of him. He's hitting everybody in the wheels and doing all the right things. It's just that, I don't know, something kicked up and popped a hole in that pan. But Chris was asking him to cut a hole in the hood, and James is ready to center it and measure it. And Chris says, no, we don't do it. Just put the hole in the hood.
Yep.
Real quick, Jimmy, appreciate you coming on the show and hanging out with us for a little bit here. Is this going to be the gateway drug, if you will? Are you going to be back into it a little bit more heavily, or was this a one-time thing?
That's a really good question. People have been asking me that. I think it was fun to do, and really thrilled that I got the opportunity to do it. But I just don't see, I don't see me doing it again. But I don't know. I got a feeling my son might be kind of hooked on it.
That's good.
He's 28, and I think he just had a blast, and maybe we'll get involved on that aspect of it. But yeah, I think done that kind of attitude, been there, done that. I think that was good enough, but we'll see.
Well,
it was really fun.
We'll be sure to stay in touch.
Actually, this was a first date too with a friend of mine that I've known for a very, very long time, and we got chatting on Facebook, and then I invited her out to come and help me out and watch and everything, and she did a lot more than just watch. She got involved and she painted the car, and it was really special. It was a special weekend altogether, and I really got to thank Chris and Jill for their hospitality, and yeah, it was a blast.
Good deal.
Awesome. I definitely hope I have the opportunity to go to Blizzard Bash just to watch.
Look us up if you make it out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad everything went so well. Memories made, and I'm sure they'll never fade for you. I'm glad everything worked out. That the return was a successful one. You got to bring some hardware home. And like I said, make sure you keep in touch. Let us know if it's ever gonna happen again. Hope that we can meet up in Topeka sometime.
Yeah, speaking about bringing some hardware home, I couldn't get the trophy on the plane. Chris and Bill are going to ship that out to me, but they had a special sign made up. In fact, was that you that had that made up?
Yeah.
The roof sign?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sign. I wanted to take that home, and I stuffed that in my suitcase, and that put me overweight. And the airline charged me $135 for that suitcase, but it was still worth it. I got the sign.
Yeah, we've had those moments.
Been there, yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for that sign. That was really cool.
Excellent. Well, it was a great story. It was coming together. I'm glad it was everything that was meant to be. That's good.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
All right. Well, thanks a lot for calling.
Absolutely, Jimmy. We'll talk to you soon.
Have a good one.
And if I do it again, I'll look you up.
Fantastic. Very good.
All right.
Thanks, Jimmy.
All right, bye.
Bye now. There goes Jimmy McChesney, the Orange Crash, back in the car for the first time in almost 40 years. We did throw a link up in the chat. It was on the Crash Course page. Story. We talked a little bit about it, about a 73-year-old driver. Wasn't allowed to derby. His wife, Betty, was too anxious about him being in the car, and unfortunately she passed away. And in Gillette, Wyoming, he got back in the car, had a great time. The local newspaper in Gillette did a bunch of coverage of it, photos and stories, and interviews and stuff. It was really, really neat. Also, doubling back here, Wayne Loff up in Oregon, he had some information to share out in Lakeview, Oregon. The rookie class is looking like it's very strong right now, and they need that out there. And it was Tom Lytle that ended up getting the win in Lakeview. The area is huge, 8,000 people in the county, and they run this huge track. If you take a green flag in the heat, you can come back out for the feature no matter what the outcome is. They only had 2 trucks. A couple years ago, a lady in the powder puff heat qualified and came out and won the main.
Sweet.
Later on in the night. It's really cool, and it exists in a time capsule. It's a vacuum. We were talking about all the stuff that's happening in Demolition Derby. The only thing that they do different now from when they first started in 1965 is the truck class. The rules haven't changed.
Wow.
Well, aside of the obvious.
Yeah.
The Imperials don't get to run. But Wayne Loff had some details on that and was sharing that. That was very cool. Matt Gascon has somehow slipped through a back door and joined us. There's Matt. Congratulations on the win. We're going to be doing a couple things in tandem. We had some more information on Rushford come to us. Mike Rice got a win in the V8 class. We talked about Corey Herzog over there at the Kings of Old School. That's where Matt got the win. Congratulations. Did you have to drive as long with no water this time? Or
No, Old Faithful got me through one more time. I put a quart of Lucas and some 1540 and prayed. Yeah, my guard didn't hold up so well an hour and 20 minutes without water, but hey. Yeah, first 03 I've ever put together. Worked out pretty good. Catskills, Ryan stuff on the inside, Smith Metalworks Cradle. Worked out pretty good. Never been up front.
Yeah, it looked.
So,
I just saw a picture today. It looked really straight.
I think I got them figured out. That was kind of a trial run car. It was an 08. I got 2 11s on deck. If that.
you know what they say in Demolition Derby: the newer the better.
Yeah, some ways, yeah.
So you gonna be running the kicker class at Bash next year, or what?
Hard to say. I mean, Deadman's looking good too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. There's some money there.
The spring show is right up my alley with the plates and the DPs and all the protectors. And I don't know. We'll see what we're doing. I don't know.
It's early to make those decisions.
Yeah,
isn't
we'll
it?
see when rules come out and payouts. And
I just build it to A-Watt and cut. That's how they do it in Ohio.
yeah, that's kind of the way I'm doing it here too. So.
Did you have a lot of trouble with the car, inspection-wise?
No, Mark was pretty good. He was actually in a good mood for once.
You know what makes Mark such a great inspector? Because he was such a great cheater. It takes the best cheaters to be the best inspectors.
And same thing
Love
with
you,
Aaron
Mark.
Bunce too.
Yeah.
so.
Aaron Bunce was an amazing cheater. He helped revolutionize cheating in New York State.
In our area, yeah, for sure.
Certainly no walk in the park to win this one.
Nope. Andy, Cody Reilly, my old man, the whole Riley's crew, they were definitely hard to beat.
What did Andy have?
He had a 73 caddy.
Nice.
He built in a week and a half.
Really?
It's the nicest caddy I've seen around in a while.
Wow.
I mean, there wasn't. It was sick.
Wow, that's cool.
About a week and a half. It was quite a feat.
So big win for Matt. I want to just make sure that we can get Mike in here as well. Mike had a huge win. It's not anything that they're paying attention to in Ohio or Nebraska or Missouri or anything, but this is a big deal for Mike Ernst after 20 years. Finally got the monkey off his back and took the win at Rushford. He's hanging out in the line with us. Mike, man, congratulations on that. That's a big win.
Thanks, Chris. I appreciate it.
Tell me a little bit about that. I mean, it's not every day that you get to win your hometown fair. When you start looking at the history that you and your family, and I mean some of the tightest connections that you've got in Demolition Derby were made in and around the grandstands there in Rushford.
Yeah, it was definitely it was a long couple days living in Buffalo and then going out to Rushford, building out of the good old Dowd farm with Tommy Dowd. We were out there Thursday night, Friday night. We were out there till probably 4 or 5 in the morning getting cars together, and Tom didn't even run. He wanted to help out me, Eddie, and his brother, and it was just a long day, but it was a great day. Hot and whatnot, and won the heat, and then the feature was pretty tough, and actually kind of made a big hit. Me and the guy that finished second, we kind of sort of went nose to nose. I believe he was in a Camry, and I was in a Lumina, and my car quit, and I was just like, put it in park, turned the car off. I was like, counted to 15, and I'm like, my mom actually passed away September 5th, so Sunday was her 4-year anniversary of being deceased. So I was like, come on, Mom. I'm like, we got this. I'm like, we're going to win this thing. And I turned the car over. The car fired right up, dropped her down into first, and it was over with from there. So,
did you, aside of that interlude, did you think that this was your year to win it? Was there anything that was happening through the course of the day that made you think that this one was going to be, it was your time?
I wasn't even sure. I wasn't even sure I was going to run. I was just like, I kind of ran the heat, and my marked out Mad fabrication bumper actually kind of went down during the heat, and usually they don't go down, so I was a little worried about getting my core support cleared and whatnot during the feature. But it was just one of those days where some days you're the hammer, some days you're the nail, and I was the hammer. So.
And I think we hit that. Mike Rice, was that the name that we got turned in for the V8s? Was it? Yeah, Mike.
Yes,
Rice.
Mike won the V8, and it was actually pretty cool because we talked afterwards, and he had made his post and on Facebook. I didn't make my post till Sunday just because I was just so tired and just wanted to relax Saturday night, and Mike made this post and we commented back and forth, and I was like, instead of saying Mike and Ike, I was like, it was the Mike and Mike day. So
very cool.
Thanks. But yeah, like I said, I just want to give a huge shout out to Tommy Dowd. I mean, he's just started his own business. He's killing himself, and he's just all the equipment he has now makes everything at the Dowd farm so much easier to build cars with his excavator and his skidster and whatnot. And Mark Dowd's bumpers, Ed Miles, who finished second in the V8s. Like we were out there all night Thursday and Friday night, just huge group effort. Jerry Dowd, aka Routster, we were all just there, just helping each other get our cars all set for Saturday.
Awesome. Well, and that was actually the facility where you met Tommy initially, right?
Yeah, actually, my family has property out in Canada, which is in Allegheny County, and I first started demoing, and I just ran my local JM Productions Fair, which I'm not even going to go into that because we could probably talk about the shittiness or the crappiness about that for hours. But anyhow, and then I started going to just watching Rushford and the Allegheny County Fair, and it was like everything was like the Dow boys, Tommy, Mark, Jerry, Scott, Veely, and just I think it was actually the last year they had the Metal Destruction show in Cuba. Mm-hmm. It was like in the off season. I just sent him a friend request. We just started talking, and things just kind of sort of just jumped off the ground from there. Like I said, he's I can't even say a best friend. He's like a brother from another mother. Whenever I need something, he's there. If he needs something, I'm there. And he's taught me so much over the years. And he normally runs V8s and I run compacts, but I've just tried to take
the knowledge or watching him build and watching the stuff he does, I just try to sort of, take it to my cars. But he's helped me out tremendously, and I definitely would not be anywhere I am in the sport without him.
Awesome. You guys going to go to Lake Erie Rumble on the 14th?
I'm not sure yet. My son is 11 going on 12. He's really big into travel baseball. So, that's why this summer I haven't probably demoed nearly as much as I wanted to, because when he's got baseball tournaments and games, it's like I need to be there. And as much as I'd rather be Derby, and it's all about him at this point. So,
well, if you get a chance to get back out, let us know where you're going. Hopefully we can have another one of these conversations.
All right, excellent. I appreciate it.
All right, man. I'll catch up with you soon. Congratulations on the win.
Thanks, Chris. I appreciate it.
You bet. We'll see you later.
All right, bye.
Feel bad rushing him through, but we're facing that time crunch with some more programming coming up for all the folks that are tuning in live on FingerLakes1.com. There's Matt. You going to be running anyplace else this year, or are you done for the year?
I'm entered for Deadman. Might take out some old iron I got sitting in the corner.
Have I seen that old iron before, or is this a different car?
No, you probably haven't seen it.
Okay.
I was going to say, that the only person I haven't even seen your dad run old iron. He's been running the 80 stuff at
We're cheap.
Bash.
We're cheap. The most expensive car we've ever paid for is $800.
Whew, I wish I
swear.
could join that crew.
I'll stick to my Vicks for $500.
Oh, yeah, that's absolutely. Vicks are too much work. That's why I don't build them.
I'd rather work than pay more. I'm cheap.
Yeah, I can understand that. But even if I pay more, I don't build as much. So I just, I run it for a little while.
But I only paid $700 for this one, so.
You get a nice profit margin.
Yeah, Dad found it, kind of giving it to me, but he wants me to build it instead of just running around here. It's too nice to waste, so.
Yeah.
We'll see if I get time. Hopefully.
So he's going to give it to you. Make sure I follow this right. And you're going to build it. You go out and you get success. Something excellent happens. And the price for you to pay him back for that car is going to be double?
Yeah. Probably, yeah. That's how it usually works. He's already trying to run my Coos car, trying to steal that from me to run somewhere. But
well, it's built now. You just got to get in and drive. That's the easy part.
I just got to hammer the trunk a little bit, and she's ready.
So did you feel good throughout the feature? I mean, did you feel pretty secure in the run, or?
No, it was dumping water out the intake from like the first 5 minutes in, and I knew the motor's been hot a million times, and it doesn't really care about it. So I shut it off. There was a couple fires, so I shut it off, limped it, and I was trying to blow it up. So and it didn't happen. So maybe next time. I need to rebuild it really bad.
Yeah.
What motor was that?
My old 355, the first year I ever ran Bash for Cash. That motor's been hot. I'm literally.
Oh man, that was a long time. When you had that, you ran the
like 2016.
back to clock
I ran a
right?
glass house in Paleo.
Yeah.
It's been hot a lot.
You got top 10 with that.
Top 10 with that. Kicker heats, features, consies the next 2 years.
Did you have that in the mod car you brought to Waterloo?
Yep, one Waterloo.
That's a good
Me
motor.
and Cody tied for first at BMP last summer.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been
I think
around the
that's
block.
the way it is, then. It's making
I
you
probably
money.
won't
I wouldn't
tear it
even-
open. I haven't even opened up the valve covers.
Yeah, I'd just leave it like
I'm just
that.
gonna let it blow up and then
Yeah.
worry about it.
That's what I do. I mean, she's making you money. I wouldn't touch it.
Yeah,
Obviously,
it's
it's
once-
not broken.
Yeah, it's once in money. It does its job.
So, is there any truth to the rumor that during the partying afterwards, a trophy might have got spiked or something?
Oh, I had that trophy in our hands for about 30 seconds, and it fell off the roof onto my old lady's head. So
Ooh.
I will glue it back together.
gonna say.
She's not happy about it.
Well,
She get over it.
yeah, she'll get over it.
It's taller than her, so
Well,
she's only 4 foot. So.
Now, was it Bush Light or Bush that we were drinking afterwards?
Bush Light.
That's what I thought.
Straight arm.
Yeah, I told Chris I thought it was a Bush Light crew.
Yep.
So,
Have you seen my helmet?
yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. Katie's paint. Look her up.
Yeah,
She'll give Most Wanted Fine Art a run for his money.
pretty neat.
They did a great job on the Cisco's cars.
Cisco's.
Cash.
my
I
dad-
didn't see their cars. From
Yeah, I
the
see
weekend.
Bush had trouble early. They said he lost something and he couldn't.
Butch, he lost a throttle pedal bolt.
Yeah, and they said he couldn't-
Unfortunately.
Yeah, he couldn't ride. He was idling.
Yeah, my dad helped restub it and put a bumper on it, and they cleaned the carb up. And yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah,
Car's still straight. He'll run it again.
yeah. Butch is a beast.
Yeah.
Butch is a beast.
Yes, he is.
For For sure.
He's from that greater generation, man.
Sure, for sure. He's a good guy.
No doubt.
All right. What do you think?
I think it's hot, and I got to go back to football practice.
Yeah, we covered a lot of ground.
Thanks for having me.
What were you doing out this neck of the woods anyway?
I picked up a Camry that's people were sleeping on in Syracuse.
Yeah.
Really cheap.
Sweet.
Yeah, a friend of mine at work just paid $200 for a Camry. He said it's spotless. There's no rust on it anywhere.
I paid a little bit more, but it only had 85,000 miles. It's going to be a driver for my old lady's sister, but.
So you decide it's going to be wrecked?
Well, it's got a lien on it. If I can't get the title, it's getting wrecked. Easily. It's clean.
That's awesome.
But.
Excellent.
Cool.
Next week, Tommy Woodbury going to be on. We're going to be looking forward to the Iron City Nationals as well. Appreciate everybody tuning in as always. That is going to do it for us here on episode number 369 of the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast. We will see you right back here again next Monday. Thanks for watching.
The Crash Course Live is presented by
Smash It Demolition Derby, who host Bash for Cash, Blizzard Bash, and Capital City Carnage. Online at smashitderby.com. And Stirring Dirt Racing, hosts of Maymania's team show at the Golden Spike Arena in Ogden, Utah. Online at stirringdirtracing.com.
Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel, and Derby Inc. Magazine. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York.